Alert! US just unveiled a missile 100 times faster than before. AGM-183 ARRW is the newest hypersonic missile successfully tested by the US Air Force. This test determined comprehensively the lethality and speed of the newest weapon, which is designed to be a hypersonic air-to-ground missile. In this video, we will talk about the test and the implications of the development of this powerful weapon, so stay tuned. But before we continue further, I would request you to subscribe to our channel. Thank you. So the test was conducted on December 9th, 2022 over the Pacific Ocean near the coast of Southern California. The missile, AGM-183 ARRW, was launched by a B-52 Stratoflying Fortress, which flew off the Edwards Air Force Base. During the test, it was seen that the missile exceeded the speed of sound by a factor of 5. Not only did the missile accurately cover its flight plan, but also self-destructed at the end. All evaluations indicated that the test was a complete success. But before we talk about the implications of this successful test, we need to understand the capabilities of this weapon and why was it needed in the first place. To answer that question, we need to understand first what is meant by a hypersonic missile. A hypersonic missile travels at speeds of Mach 5, or 5 times the speed of sound. But is it such a huge deal? Because ballistic missiles were able to reach speeds of about Mach 17 to Mach 20 during the early part of the Cold War. But these ballistic missiles cannot be considered as hypersonic missiles. The reason is that there is another important factor which gives a hypersonic missile its true lethality. The lethal factor is maneuverability. All other ballistic missiles follow a very predictable flight plan, which means it is easier to intercept them and destroy them in the air. This is done by already calculating the flight path of the missile, which gives the defending nation enough time to launch countermeasures, which may include surface-to-air missiles or missile-for-missile defense systems. This strategy is completely irrelevant in the case of hypersonic missiles, since it is impossible to determine the flight path of the missile in advance. The only course of action left is to launch anti-aircraft missiles to destroy them before they hit their target, because a missile with maneuverability will essentially be an airplane with a lot of speed. However, there are certain caveats which even anti-aircraft missiles have not been able to address when meeting the challenge of hypersonic missiles. For one, the missiles launched to destroy them must have a higher speed than the hypersonic missile itself. The second issue is withstanding huge resistance, which is felt at speeds exceeding 30 G and maneuvering at such huge speeds. Hypersonic missiles basically are undefeatable. Whatever the target is, whether it's a command post or an aircraft carrier, it will be destroyed. Hypersonic missiles have perhaps become the highest priority, especially for superpowers who are consistently adding newer tools to best their rivals. So it should be no surprise that the US, China, and Russia are working hard to develop their own hypersonic missiles. Military experts have argued that China and Russia took the lead in coming up with advanced weapons back in 2010s. The United States has been playing catch-up since then, with massive amounts of investments directed towards developing 5th and 6th generation strategic weapons. The US is currently developing hypersonic missiles through its Hypersonic Weapon Program, or LRWH. One of the projects in this program is to build a hypersonic airframe through which the missile can be fired. Lockheed Martin is reportedly working on the project. For the airframe, some tests have been planned for the end of this year, 2023. There are other projects too, such as the Hypersonic Air-Breathing Weapon Concept, or the HAWC. This weapon is essentially a cruise missile with a direct-flow air-breathing engine. The design makes it a relatively smaller airborne missile. Another program is called the Hypersonic Attack Cruise Missile, or the HAC. HAC is being developed by Raytheon Technologies, and although details are relatively scarce on this project, we know that it will be a missile launched from an airplane. But these are not the only hypersonic programs. There are others too, but they are in a more formative stage. For instance, the US Navy is currently working for a Prompt Strike and Hypersonic Air Missile, or OASUW. The Pentagon's Office of Advanced Research Project is currently working on a tactical boost glide and operational fire. Other military superpowers are not sitting idly by. They are developing their own versions of a hypersonic missile. Russia is currently working on 3 hypersonic programs, which includes avant-garde strategic targeting munition, which can be launched by an ICBM or a sea-based missile or through an air-based missile. Russia has already tested these 3 weapons complexes and has declared them fit to enter active military service. The air-based missile, Kinzhal, has already been used twice in combat operations in Ukraine. These missiles were used to destroy the Taka-U ballistic missile depot. This depot was previously used to store nuclear weapons and was built during the Soviet Union. The missile depot was located near the rock formations of the Carpathian Mountains and was thought to be extremely well protected. Even nuclear weapons could not damage the facility. China has also excelled in producing its own hypersonic missiles. Its most well-known hypersonic missile, called the DF-17, rang alarms in the US Armed Forces. One reason for that is that it is a gliding munition which can be accelerated by a solid propellant missile. This test was successfully carried out in 2021. This event was so monumental that the chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, compared the Chinese successor to the earlier successes of the Soviet space program. For those who don't know, the Soviet space program was almost always ahead of NASA. NASA might have put the first man on the moon, but the Soviets put the first man in space. The US was only able to test fire its own hypersonic missile on December 9th. The AGM-180 ARRW is short for Air Launched Rapid Response Weapon, and during the test, it was reported that the missile flew about 1,600 kilometers and reached a speed of Mach 5, which equals more than 3,800 miles per hour. Based on these numbers, we can say that the AGM-180 Arrow is similar in concept to the Russian air-based hypersonic missile Kinzhal. One difference between Kinzhal and AGM-180 is that the former was launched by the popular fighter interceptor of its age, MiG-31 Foxhound. This interceptor was reportedly the fastest in production back during the height of the Cold War, and could reach a speed of about Mach 2.5 or 1,900 miles per hour. This means that the Russian equivalent to the American AGM is about 1.5 times faster. Congressional Research Service points out that Kinzhal can reach a speed of about Mach 10 and provide a range of 2,000 kilometers. In this respect, the AGM-180 is closer to the Russian sea-based hypersonic missile, which will have a speed of 6.5 Mach and an effective range of 1,000 kilometers. As far as the Chinese hypersonic missiles are concerned, we do not know much about them. The United States military experts have estimated that their range could be between 1,000 and 1,500 kilometers. In this respect, it can be seen that the US still is quite behind the advanced Russian technology as far as hypersonic missiles are concerned. This difference can be felt especially when it comes to speed and maneuverability. Speed is a big factor which gives these hypersonic missiles their lethal factor. Higher speeds make interception by subsonic and supersonic weapons difficult. When we are talking about the Russian hypersonic missiles, their efficacy could be judged from its ability to destroy a missile depot which was apparently impervious even to a nuclear strike. This weapon carried conventional armament, weighing about 1,000 pounds. The American Mark 85 bomb weighs twice as much but is only able to penetrate 11 feet of steel. The Russian missile produced more momentum through its superior kinetic energy, which is 169 times more than a cruise missile. This means that a hypersonic missile, despite its conventional armament, has more destructive capacity as compared to other weapons. Only time can tell if the US will be able to produce an equivalent hypersonic missile. Thank you for watching till the end. Please like the video and subscribe for watching similar content.